say 25%, which we used to have as kind of a minimum back in the day. You start out your first year, maybe you get about a 10% margin on that. So you'd have, like, I think you had $100 million in contract revenue, you could maybe get $10 million. The next year, you probably were looking at about 15% or $15 million. Then you got, when you get into that, towards the end of the second year, into the third year, you're operating at the whole $25 million or 25%. But that was kind of how we used to look at it and how these developed into full profitability.
And if it's, say, a 5-year contract, what happens in the outer years? Does it continue improving, or do you start feeding through some of those efficiency gains in terms of pricing?
Well, in our experience and what we had modeled out and what we had talked to people about, there is some incremental improvement as the years go on. Now it's getting more productive, but once you get a contract for a certain amount of services, local operating people then they're continuously working with people at the OEM, and they continuously are offering more services, like maybe more inspection, maybe kitting certain products, doing some like minor assembly, things that weren't anticipated in the original contract. Now, when they go and do this is kind of where they get a little bit of the hog personality, because when they're adding these little services on, it's not that much of an increment to the OEM. There's huge profit components on it when they're able to add these little additional services. So, yeah, you do see. Long story short, you do see improvements even once you get like the full productivity on the initial contract. Then you're still getting more. You're still getting more productivity plus additional service offerings.
Got it. Just because now we talked about sort of contract level margins versus previously we were talking about overall company margins of 10 to 15. I guess, how should I be thinking about fixed costs or just generally fixed variable splits in the business? I mean, I would imagine for each contract you win additionally, there is basically very limited fixed cost, right? All of it is variable in a sense that even obviously the building lease itself is sort of a variable cost with regard to a specific contract, right?
Well, yeah, I guess you could say your lease costs, you could say they're variable because they're associated with the with the length of the contract. However, in Neovia's world, they would look at lease costs as kind of a fixed cost, because they don't vary directly with the the amount of parts.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah, I guess I see that there are different ways to look at it.
So just in general, usually spending right around 40% on variable cost on any given contract. So if you have revenue of $1 million, you're probably going to have variable cost of $400,000.
But this is looking at the way the company looks at it, where the leases are a fixed cost, yeah.
Yeah, and that's without the leases, and then that would be a fairly large component of fixed costs would be the facility leases, and then you also have there is labor that is not variable labor. It's like your office and management and those type of things that goes into the fixed costs as well. That's probably the biggest chunk of fixed costs.
But how much is the corporate overhead fixed cost? I'm talking about Neovia, management, accounting, sales function, like that part, because the way I'm thinking about it at the moment, right, in terms of trying to forecast performance going forward, I have a number of contracts wins, I have a number of contract losses, I have a number of $1 million of revenue lost, $1 million of revenue gained, right? I have contracts that I managed to renew. So, I mean, I'm thinking that maybe it's the wrong way to think about it. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking about it in terms of they won so many contracts which are going to generate them so much cash, net of the losses, assume a certain margin on those contracts, assume a certain margin profile. This will give me contribution towards the true fixed cost of the business, and the true fixed cost